Brazil, the poor and the rich live in two separate worlds, but at the same time they're side by side.
You find shacks with no sewer, no basic sanitation, no nothing. And walking 500 yards, you can find luxury buildings, high walls, and imported cars leaving the garages.
We have to understand the fact that a world like ours, with so much inequality, has no future.
Asao Harmonia gives you the opportunity to connect these two worlds through the language of Aikido, which is the language of the body that they have in common.
Aikido is as important as bread to the children because it feeds them. It feeds expectations, it feeds dreams, it feeds hope. It feeds the life of this being.
My name is José Alberto Bueno. I'm a Brazilian architect, passionate about Aikido. Aikido is quite different from everything we can imagine about martial arts. What fascinates me about Aikido is the absolute commitment to peace, the absolute commitment to harmony, the absolute commitment to preserving not only my integrity, but the integrity of the other. This whole Asao Harmonia project was born out of a very humble group of 8 kids in a poor community here in Sao Paulo. At about the same time, I was invited to start a project with business executives from large-scale companies in Brazil. These two projects have grown in parallel, and what's happening now is that these two worlds, these two universes, are beginning to come closer.
We live here in Brazil in a country with much separateness, among people, among regions, among different social layers. And the work that José is doing is fantastic, building links and facilitating bridges between these people and these different layers.
What makes Aikido so interesting for executives is that it's a way for the body to teach the mind. The executive is normally very cerebral, and Aikido, the practice of Aikido, is a way for you to learn through your body. In addition to that, we have executives interacting with the kids who are learning in the slums, and that's applied here at Amana. This experience is very interesting for everybody. It's interesting for the boy from the slum who's teaching a 55-year-old, and it's important for the executive to be in contact with this boy.
The partnership of the children at Amana has been very important to them because it's a contact with another reality that's not part of their daily lives, and they feel valued and respected. People probably have no idea of how important that is for us, black, slum dwellers, poor. To be in an environment like that and to be respected. And that brings self-confidence, ownership in how to present themselves, and they see those executives as people, because people are people anywhere in the world.
I think the only difference is that we have less money than they do. They're rich people and all.
No kid gets to be a teacher, but I do.
I think it's interesting. It's fun to help them get to know a bit of Aikido. The little that I know, it's cool.
And we learn from what they know.
Yeah.
It's an exchange.
That's it.
I think there's an issue in relation to the word volunteering. It's often associated with sacrifice, giving some time from your life to help people who need something, right? But in the real experience of volunteering, the first person to have fun in this whole process is me. The first volunteers were born inside my Aikido school, and now they've started to come from many other schools, independent of federations, of groups. These are people in tune with the mission of Asao Harmonia.
I met Bueno Sensei about 2 years ago. It was through the internet that we ended up getting together. It was already a goal of mine, to teach children and to share a little of what I knew, of what I'd experienced. I have no intention of changing anybody there, or to correct, or to feel superior, but I go there to share. I also allow each person to share their individual experience, and we have a great exchange. Everybody learning, including myself, not just the kids.
My name is Enrique Busacos. I'm the founder of Tekoha, a fair trade organization dealing in handcrafts from various communities. I'm a volunteer at Ação Harmonia, and my role is to search for new ways of generating income with its services to make it a sustainable organization. I also help with the children, but besides that, volunteers can do lots of things. So, people who are good with design, people who are lawyers, there are so many roles to fill within the project.
The international volunteers come from many countries. We have one from England who's ending a 6-month stay, and he's leaving Brazil now so we can welcome other volunteers coming from Australia. And to me it looks like it'll be a continuous cycle of volunteers permanently visiting Brazil to bring their knowledge, bring their culture, to bring their unique qualities. For the kids, it opens up a perspective. They start to see the world with other eyes. The world isn't just the community of the outskirts. It's not just Sao Paulo. It's not just Brazil. They begin to enlarge in an extraordinary way their notion of world and society.
My name is Mark Walsh. I'm from Cambridgeshire, England. I came here to be a volunteer for Ação Harmonia, sent by Aikido Extensions. The reason I came all this way was because I was very inspired by the project when I first heard about it. I enjoy working with children very much, and Aikido is my passion. So to use the two things together was a real opportunity for me to make some positive difference in people's lives. I help out with the children's Aikido classes. I also work on the computer organizational pieces, international contacts, that kind of thing. We work in the corporate world as well.
For example, we now have a recent project at Sabesp, the state water company in Sao Paulo, working with a group that suffers enormous stress.
We have here about 150 people who serve 18 million people in the metropolitan area. That is, all the clients of Sabesp in the metropolitan area who have water and sewer at their residences. It's a very complex type of service, and the person must be prepared and centered to be able to deal with the stress that their day-to-day job demands.
Aikido changes our life at work because of the issues it works out. It works a lot on harmony, and that's something we can try to do in life too, right? Like you've got negativity here, but you can try to see it in a different light, trying to work it out, trying to see it another way, and not just look at it all in such a negative way.
Aikido talks a lot about moving and finding new angles to observe the same reality. It's the same premise. The universe with the children is different. Another setting, another geography. But the issue of shifting your perspective, of seeing the world in a different way, it's the same work we're doing with the kids that we do with executives.
The coolest thing about doing Aikido is that we're always learning. There's always something new. And you also don't get hurt. You have more flexibility, you have more patience. Aikido is all that.
If somebody gets angry and wants to beat you up, if you react calmly, don't get so stressed, it can be that he will too. If he comes with aggression and you react the same way, he'll definitely get more aggressive.
I've been at Casa de Criança for 6 years, and I work there because I believe in the work. I believe in the children, and I believe that they won't leave the streets, but they will transform the streets, starting from their own backyards, from their own communities, going into something bigger. I believe in them.
Look, talking about dreams is my specialty. So when I look at the project, I think it's possible to see many things. For example, the kids being able to participate in programs outside the country, of us receiving more and more people here in Brazil. And our biggest dream, using Aikido to make this world a little less aggressive, less violent, less unfair. It's a simple thing, very practical, very light. You can make a big difference, even without noticing all you're doing.